All right, let's get right into it. If you're a leader, you're going to face a choice. It's a fundamental dilemma that really defines everything about your impact. The question is this: are you the hero, the one at the center of it all, or are you the architect, the one who builds something that can live on without you? That's the core question we're going to unpack today. You know, the whole journey starts with this one gut punch of a realization. The author of the work we're exploring, Juan Hernandez Sanchez, basically says it all started the day he looked around and realized the biggest obstacle to his company's success was him. It wasn't the market, it wasn't the team, it was him. And that single idea, that you might be the problem, that's where everything changes. So let's talk about that first path, the one that feels so natural, the one we're often encouraged to take. It's the path of the hero leader. And on the surface, it looks great. It feels like you're crushing it. But underneath, it's a trap, a paradox that's quietly setting you up for failure.
Now, take a second and be really honest with yourself. Does any of this hit a little too close to home? Always being the first one in and the last one out? Those 60-plus-hour weeks being just normal? Taking a vacation but, never really unplugging? Living by that old motto, if you want it done right, do it yourself. We wear this stuff like a badge of honor, right? It's supposed to mean we're indispensable.
And this right here is the heart of the paradox. That feeling, that need to be indispensable, it feels like success, doesn't it? It feels like you're the most valuable player. But it's not a sign of strength. It's actually a giant flashing warning sign of a deeply flawed system. You haven't built an organization that can win. You've built an organization that can't function without you. And that is a system just waiting to fail. So how do you really know if you've fallen into this hero trap? Well, let's do a quick diagnostic. This isn't theory. It's a super practical test to see just how resilient your leadership and your organization really is. Just 4 simple questions. Ready? Okay, question 1. Could you take a 2-week vacation and, this is the key, be completely unplugged? I'm talking no email, no just checking in calls, no Slack notifications. Could you literally vanish for 14 days and trust, truly trust, that everything would run smoothly without you? Number 2. Can your team make key operational decisions on their own? And I don't mean small stuff. I mean the important calls. Can they handle a major client issue, approve a big expense, or change a project deadline, all without needing your final okay? Do they actually have the authority, or are they just waiting for your green light? Question 3 is all about your time. Look at your calendar. Do you have at least 10 hours, a solid chunk of your week, blocked off just for strategic thinking? I mean real deep work on the business, not just fighting fires in the business. Or is your entire week just a series of meetings and problems to solve? And finally, question 4, and this one is so important. Think about your absolute best people, your rock stars. When they look up, what do they see? Do they see a path for themselves to grow, to take on real responsibility, to maybe even take your job someday? Or do they just see you as a ceiling they'll never break through? All right, let's get the results. If you answered no to 3 or even all 4 of those questions, the diagnosis is pretty clear. You're a hero leader. And while that might sound like a compliment, it comes with some serious and often hidden costs. Yeah, this is the part we don't always see. The price of being the hero doesn't always show up on a spreadsheet, but trust me, it's there, and it's draining the life out of your company, your team, and probably you too. Let's break down what's really happening. First, you're the bottleneck. Everything has to flow through you, which slows everything down. Second, you crush what the source material calls emotional salary. That's the good stuff people get from work that isn't money, like feeling trusted and having autonomy. You also create tons of mudas, a great Japanese term for invisible waste. Think of all the hours your team spends just waiting for you to approve something. And the big one, your personal legacy, all that hard work, is actually trending towards 0. So that's the hero's path. But the good news is, it's not the only path. This is where we get to that big choice, that fork in the road, between 2 totally different ways of leading, each one creating a completely different kind of legacy. To make this super clear, let's look at a real-world story. First up, a company called Calzado Canada. For a long time, this was a massive footwear company in Mexico, an empire, really, all built by one brilliant, heroic founder. This founder, Salvador Lopez Chavez, was an absolute genius. He controlled every single detail. He was the company's engine, its brain, its heart. His personal brilliance was, without a doubt, its greatest asset. But here's the kicker. It was also its fatal flaw. The source material puts this into a simple, brutal formula. The founder's impact? Huge, high impact. But How many days could the company he built survive without him? The answer was 0. When he died, the whole thing fell apart because no one else knew how to run it. So you take that massive impact, you multiply it by 0, and what's left? A legacy of 0. Now let's flip the script and look at the other path, the architect's path. And there's really no better example of this in the world than Toyota. Their success isn't about one person being a hero, it's about the power of an incredible system. See, the leaders who built Toyota weren't trying to be the heroes who solved every problem. They were architects. Their genius wasn't in making all the decisions, it was in designing the Toyota production system, a framework that actually gives authority and power to the people on the factory floor. At Toyota, the system is the hero, not any single leader. And that gives us a very different formula. They built a high-impact system. So, how many days can that system run without its original creators? Well, those guys are long gone, and the system is stronger than ever. The number of Ds isn't a number at all, it's infinity. So you take a high-impact system, you multiply it by infinity, and you get an infinite legacy. I mean, when you put it all side by side like this, it's crystal clear, isn't it? The hero becomes the bottleneck, obsessed with daily control, and the whole thing collapses when they leave. The architect focuses on systems. They transfer authority to the team, and what they build thrives forever. 0 versus infinity. It's a stark choice. So here's the best part. You're not stuck. If you see yourself in that hero column, it's not a life sentence. You can absolutely make the shift. You can choose to go from being the hero to becoming the architect, or what we'll call the elite leader. So what's the secret? How do you actually do it? Well, the source gives us a really powerful tool called Protocols de No Intervention, or PNIs. Basically, these are just simple rule books that let you step away. Instead of approving every single discount, for instance, you create a PNI. Any team member can give up to a 15% discount without approval. Boom. You haven't just delegated a task, you've transferred real authority. And that is the engine of this entire transformation. And that brings us right back to the beginning, back to that choice. This is the ultimate question every leader has to ask themselves. If you disappeared tomorrow, what would be left behind? A gaping hole where the hero used to be? Or a finely tuned system that continues to thrive? Is your legacy trending towards 0 or infinity? The answer is up to you.